Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at the chapter. As always, the thing that makes my week. Thursdays are always awesome, but I couldn't actually review them on Thursday, so I'm reviewing them now. One Piece 822, the Bleach chapter, and hopefully My Hero Academia dropping today. Look out for them all, but without further ado, let's get into this One Piece review. So, for those who are new, I do a 5-point review normally of the 5 key points or key moments that I enjoy through this chapter, what I think is key. This isn't a top 5 or top 10 or anything like that. This is literally just what I think, my opinion. I could miss loads. If I miss something, let me know in the comment section below and give your thoughts on it. But without further ado, let's get to point number 1. Point number 1, it's about Chopper. So we find out that Chopper has basically patched up Zunisha. He gets praise, and the cute thing that he does is he does a little dance. He does that. It's cute as always, Chopper. The guy needs a good bounty though, because as cute as he is, the guy can fight. So hopefully we're going to see that very soon. But yeah, so he gets praised for it, and they make the point about Zunisha basically walking for 1,000 years, and we get the idea that the questions asked, it sets up the whole thing about Chopper talking to Zo, finding out possibly about the Void Century. Now, it's not elaborated at this point. We don't know if it's successful or not, but we do know that he's going to have that conversation. We also get the idea of foreshadow about the possible futures of these type of races, so the Minkmen, the Fishman Island, even Skypiea being more integrated into the world and having a more understanding and a more open civilization that's not got racism and the ideal world that we should hopefully have here, but we don't. But yes, interesting setup, and it's kind of an interesting foreshadow for that point. So, point number 2. Point number 2 is interesting because it's about Nami. Now, there's a few things that happened before this chapter chronologically, but I think timeline-wise they're a bit off, so I'll explain at the end. But anyway, Nami basically gets an upgrade to a Climatech, and it's like a sorcery Climatech now. And you get Raizo in the background like, ooh, what kind of ninjutsu is this? What kind of dojutsu is this? And that's kind of cool because it kind of linked into the whole Naruto thing, which so I like that. It was kind of cool, kind of funny. And you get the idea that basically what's happened is Frankie and Usopp have got together, used their knowledge and kind of worked on the device, given her all her abilities that she's learned over the time skip into one item, bar one thing. I'd imagine what's possibly going to happen is over the course of the rest of the story, those new things that she's going to learn as Frankie and Usopp develop, they'll come back and upgrade it again. What this does though, is this does set up the idea that when she does go, Nami does go to Big Mom's tea party, when a fight breaks out, she's going to have a fight. Possibly with the bride-to-be or something like that. The concept is based on pressure, so the more pressure applied to the staff, the longer it gets. How she utilizes that is going to be interesting, but I can't wait to see it in action. I can't wait to see the new development and the new kind of strength, the power this gives the wielder, Nami. So we'll have to see what she can do, but that's point number 2. So point number 2 leads on to point number 3, which is interesting because it's about Frankie. So we know Frankie being a shipwright, and we had this whole thing when he basically designed all these extra pieces for the 1,000 Sunny. And we haven't seen any new developments other than a few things with the whole docking station and the Frankie Shogun thing situation. I think it's pretty cool that we've got the Frankie Shogun going to Wano to meet the actual Shogun of Wano. It's kind of cool in that respect. So I can't wait to see what happens with that, and the idea that he's meant to be developing tools and weapons for the fight against Kaido. I can't wait to see how that's going to work. Is that going to be weapons for everybody else? Is that going to be something that's going to be an upgrade to his Shogun? We'll have to wait and see. The idea that he can now apparently create Denden Mushi from wild snails is interesting because we've never seen the design of how this works. I can only imagine there may be some flashback of him in the facility with those papers, because if you remember, there was a lot of papers from Dr. Vegapunk's design. They may be the exact copies or maybe the rudimentary designs that he used to have. At some point, I can imagine in the future there's going to be a meeting between him, Frankie, and Dr. Vegapunk. I cannot wait to see those great minds. The perverted mind of Frankie, but we have no idea what he's going to imagine if Dr. Vegapunk is actually the father of Frankie. Stupid idea, stupid theory, but what can you do? It'd be funny, wouldn't it? And they both have perverted minds and they kind of get along. It'd be interesting to see, but that's point number 3. So point number 4 is to do with Luffy going to get Peckham. So we find out that Peckham's house got destroyed, or when Nikomamushi's house was, and it's to do with the whole thing with Jack. What was funny is the banter between the two. So you get that he calls him now Turtle Mamushi, and he's like, that's getting further from my name every single day. And he explains that he had a turtle fruit, a kami fruit, and that gives him a turtle shell, and that's hard as a diamond basically, but not that Luffy really gives two tosses about it. He's not so excited. I think he'd be excited if he saw it in action. He'd be like, oh my god, you know, when he gets all starry-eyed and stuff like that. I think that's when he would get excited about it, but at the moment he's not even bothered. So he goes, grabs him, puts him over his shoulder, starts running, and Peckham's like, I'm barely living here, what you doing, calm down. So what happens is, by the end of this story or this chapter, he's basically grabbed everyone that's gonna go with him, and I'll cover that in the final point in a second. But he literally just grabs everybody, just jumps off. Everybody's like, what? So even the people that he jumps off with, you know, Chopper, Brook, Nami, all that's hilarious. All the minks are like, what the hell is going on? You know, everybody else is surprised, and then you get the rest of the story. It's like, it'll be fine. You know, it's nothing normal, but it's just crazy how they did that. Everyone is surprised, but the straw hats are not falling, and that was kind of cool. It was kind of funny. So basically, although I'm going to confirm in my next point, Luffy, Peckham's, Pedro, who I want to be a straw hat. He's so cool. Him or Peckham's have to become a straw hat. I don't know why, I just love the guy. Pedro seems like this sleek kind of dude. I could sort of see him doing really well, like the whole assassination thing, working well with Sanji, because he's from a family of assassins, and working well with them. And being Peckham's being a mink as well, possibility there. He's already given a name for him. That's kind of cool as well. So one of them becoming a straw hat is a distinct possibility, and we'll have to wait and see. So having them with them is only going to be beneficial in my opinion. So let's move on to point number 5 and let's end it. So team formations. So what effectively happens is Momo decides he wants to stay on Zoro to find out more about Zanisha, his family past, and why he can only like speak to and reply to it and stuff like that. So what happens is Inuarashi decides to stay with him. So what effectively happens is that team is going to be, the one that's staying on Zoro is going to be Inuarashi, Momo, and basically I believe it's going to be the Musketeers and a few other people. The other team that's going to go to find Marco is going to be Nekamamushi and his team. So all the kind of cat and the dark, the nighttime people, nighttime mink, sorry, will go find him. I'm hoping they don't run into turbulence, but I can honestly see them running into Weeble Jr. Or Weeble, I should say, YB Jr. And hopefully that'll be an interesting storyline. The people that are going to go to Wano is going to be Zoro, Law, and Kinemon. And them lot, that side's going to be interesting because they're like the proper 3 musketeers, 3 swordsmen going to do battle. And even Zoro said, I'm going to go kick some samurais' asses. And that's been foreshadowed for a while because he's been wanting to go to Wano for ages. So that's going to be interesting. You know, seeing Law in action as well with his whole crew, Beppo and the lot. And then you get the final kind of the team, which is Luffy's crew. So we already knew Luffy's Chopper, Brook, and Nami were going to go. That was already confirmed. But some of the minks wanted to go as well. So they was going to take Peckham's because Peckham's the guide. But a lot of people will find over who wanted to go. A lot of them had lame excuses. It was a fun little banter, but Pedro said, I want to go to keep Peckham's in line because of some of his mannerisms. And he calls, in one of the translations, Peckham's calls Pedro brother Pedro. Are they actually related, do you think, or is it kind of a situation like how the fishermen were, where they used to look up to brother Tai, like, you know, Fisher Tiger, and basically they saw him as the older brother? So it could be something like that, because we do know that Peckham was a naughty little lion when he was young, and I imagine Pedro being the older one probably kept him in line. So him going there is going to be interesting to see a little bit more about Peckham's background and what's going to happen next. Now I did say I was going to finish it with 5, but there's so many storylines that are coming on the back of this. I've got to just discuss this in an additional point. So point number 6 incoming. So unofficial point, a conclusion, thoughts. Now if you look at it, we've already highlighted four possible storylines there, right? Then you got the idea of Weeble Jr. kind of intersecting or going for Marco. So you've got that going on. Then you've got this whole situation with dragon and the Blackbeard pirates, right? And then at the end of this chapter, we get Vivi, who basically looks like she's setting up to go to the Rivere. So the Riveri or Riveres is going to happen as well. So all that shit's going to happen as well. So it's going to be crazy to see all the different countries Luffy has affected, because you can see in the storyline, if you think about it, there's been a lot of places that Luffy has gone and has had a positive impact. For example, he's had a positive impact on the Drum Kingdom, so the people who rule over Drum Kingdom are going to be there. The people of Alabasta, the Dressrosa. So that's just 3 kingdoms that are involved with the world government that he has positively affected. So that's going to have a positive impact potentially on things to come. And I can imagine if he's brought up, if Dragon's brought up, if a lot of other things are brought up, there's going to be a more positive view on Luffy to a certain degree in the River. So that's just some of the possibilities of the storyline that's going to happen. We've got the Big Mom situation, we've got the Vince Smokes, you know they're going to be involved somehow. There's so many things that are going on, and like Oda said, he goes, it's only going to get crazier from now on. You know, like Law said as well, he goes, once that cog is broken, there's no stopping it now. It's like a roller coaster, it's hitting this peak. We're gonna go full throttle into the year of Sanji, into the arc of the saga of the 4 Yonkou. It's gonna be crazy. What's going on with Shanks? What's going on with Kaido? What's going on with Big Mom? What's going on with Blackbeard? All this will be revealed very, very soon. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm sure you can't as well. I hope you enjoy this chapter. I hope you enjoy this review. Give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below what you think. If anything I've missed, please let me know. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate that. I've got to 40. Let's get to 50. Please, without your help, I'm not going to get any further. Thank you very much for your time. And as always,